All right.
Oh, how about that?
Oh, yeah.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Yeah, sounds good. Welcome back to the Prophetic Podcast. Today we have, it seems like I've always said, we have another power couple. We keep getting power couples. I'm your host, Drew. Today I have the Walls here. Tell them what you do real quick, just like a little snippet, and then I'm going to give you a really cool intro.
Okay, cool. I'm Dr. Loretta Wall. I am a wealth strategist and a financial professional coach. Just teach people how to build and protect their wealth.
Wayne. Hold on, let me get Wayne the intro. This is for Wayne, because Wayne doesn't want to tell. Again, we're going to do it again. Yeah, Wayne doesn't want to tell me what he does. Tell him, Wayne. You want a bomb too, Wayne? There you go. Wayne's the bomb, but he won't toot his own horn.
I am a health and safety professional for. I've handled accounts from pharmaceutical, now with the railroad, and I'm here to support my beautiful wife in her journey through entrepreneurship.
How humble
And
is. I like it.
I'm glad to be here, blessed to be here, and blessed to be here in this position. So I appreciate it.
Well, thank you guys for coming in. I love these kind of conversations. So, quick backstory. Actually, quick icebreaker. Cowboys, Super Bowl, yes or no?
No, and Philadelphia Eagles, let's go.
Why did you let him in this room? Why did you? No.
I meant to tell you out there, but
And Smith, why you didn't tell me? Because that's how I know y'all. My friend, my old college roommate, if you guys didn't know, that's how I met you guys through him. But I wish he had told me you were an Eagles fan.
die hard.
I don't think if
Next time you gotta come by yourself.
if he tells you that, we're not here today. So
Oh, so you did it. So how did you guys meet originally? Let's go back a little bit. The beginning of this love story. How did you guys meet?
Well, we attended the same college in undergrad, but I think we knew mutual people.
Okay.
Actually, he saw me on Facebook and reached out to one of my closest friends to this day, and got connected, and then
Okay.
we started talking from
Being
there.
resourceful. I see you.
yeah, that's not all though. When I first met her, when we first met up, it was in an Olive Garden parking lot. I hugged her, and I looked her in her face, and I said, "You're going to be my wife."
This is the second
Wait.
episode in a row that
Wait.
that's happened. Yeah.
Wait, but
The last dude flew down here and did the same thing. That's crazy.
She gets in her car, pulls off. I don't hear from her for 2 weeks, and then tells me the only way I can talk to her is through chat, through Yahoo Messenger.
Did you Google search him?
No, it was
Oh.
just like I've never had anyone just kind of
So,
like, oh, you're gonna be my wife. How do you know that? Are you a stalker? Like, what is this? It just kind of threw me.
That's probably why you didn't hear from him for like 2 weeks. She had to vet you.
Let me figure this out. Yeah, I had to call around. You know this guy?
Call them
What
contacts.
you-
Y'all had them. They were mutual. I got
Like, who do you know? Like, how solid is he?
Real
you.
talk.
Okay. So where did your journey? The doctor's in front of your name. So let's not skip past that. Where did that? What, is the doctor in regards to what you do now or what you did before?
Just sort of.
Okay.
Sort of both. So basically, I have a doctorate in the nursing practice.
I got you.
I have a 17-year career history in healthcare. So, doctorally prepared nurse practitioner. I practiced in critical care, urgent care, and family practice.
Okay.
I transitioned into financial services while being a healthcare professional, but I'm more so on the ownership side and entrepreneurship in healthcare right now. But my primary focus is financial literacy because it's one of the businesses that I've been building over the last few years.
So that's a long career in the medical field. What made you pivot?
Well, I initially sought out to definitely take care of my personal finance just for myself, my family, my husband, my beautiful kids. And so I did a one-on-one meeting with a financial professional to get that started. And so after like going through the process for setting up things for myself and my family, I learned so much in that short period of time that like it blew my mind. Because I've been serious for a long time. I've been the one that wants to be on top of things. I had been actively searching for financial solutions, searching for how to do things better, but I couldn't find the information. And so when I sat down with a professional who helped me, I realized that I definitely wanted my family and friends to learn what I had learned through that process.
Right.
And so on that journey of referring them to him, he said, well, you can kind of use this as another stream of income. I tapped into it just so I can help my people and fell in love with it.
So, with that being said, have you found, you said the information, have you found that in the communities of color, Black communities specifically, but communities of color, have you found that information is not as prevalent or available?
Absolutely. Like I said, in my early 20s, I was actively searching for the information.
When you say searching, where were you searching?
Like online, asking other
Okay.
older adults who've had experience, talking to different financial advisors, and still hearing the same things, but not hearing things that really aligned with what I thought would work for my family and where I was trying to go. So, for instance, when I first graduated from college, and I was being trained in the ICU, that was when the housing market crashed in 2008.
Okay.
The housing market crashed, and I'm fresh into being trained in the ICU. The person who trained me had lost close to $500,000 because of how the market had crashed.
Wow.
During that time when the housing market crashed, people lost about 44% of their retirement or investment accounts, or their, whatever they had in the market. And so I started asking him, like what happened? Like, he was a cheerful guy, very helpful all the time. And during that time, like, he was despondent, like sad and all this stuff. So I had him to explain to me why he was feeling that way. And he explained to me how the market worked at that time. My parents didn't know. My friends, they didn't know how to explain it to me because they didn't understand it.
I think with us, it's not generational.
It's not.
And so if we, in our age demographic, maybe below us, maybe just a step above us, might be the first of the generations to ever even tap into the information.
Literally.
So then who are you pulling it from?
Exactly.
There's nowhere to get it from.
That's why I fell in love with this industry, because during that time, I'm taking it all the way back. Once he explained to me, I was like, wait, what? You mean I can wake up in the morning just because something happened in the world and half of my money is gone? That doesn't make sense to me. So ever since that moment, I was searching for ways to understand, like, how do I protect my wealth better? Like, what things should I have in my portfolio that's going to allow me to still build my wealth efficiently, but not lose it just because something crazy happened in the world, pandemic or housing market, this and the other.
It sounds to me like you applied the same tactics that you did in the medical field to finance. So it's because it's a practice.
Yes.
It's not a passive thing unless you're doing long-term investing, like angel investing, or like,
Right.
long 20, 30-year yeah, that might be something you can be passive about. But with what you're talking about, it sounds like it's more active. You have to be more informed.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so when I learned those lessons during that time, over the time period where I was actively searching, I couldn't find the information alone. I couldn't find the information with the people I was in close proximity to until I met that financial professional who helped me set those things up. And so when I was enlightened, I started talking to more and more people in my circle, and I quickly realized that we were all in the same financial illiteracy boat.
Yeah.
I mean, highly intelligent people, other doctors, other lawyers, other career driven people, other business owners, all walks of life. Like, the more conversations I had, I realized that we're working as hard as we can work. We're being so resourceful. We're gaining everything that they told us that we can gain to be successful. And we're one crisis away from poverty if we don't have the information we need to protect ourselves.
Wayne, did you find the same thing on your path too? Did you have access to information or no?
Yes, I have access. I learned a lot from her.
Well, no, prior to, like, when you were younger growing up, did you have the same pack?
No.
No one knew.
No, what I was taught to is put food on the table, provide, keep a roof over the head, and then everything else comes along with it.
And I hate it because it's like, it's short-sighted, but it's not entirely our fault, but it's just a short-sighted way of, you only can see so far. And I found that in our community a lot too. Like, you only get so much information. You only have so many ideas. You can only see life as like a few things. And so that's kind of where it resides. So when you got into finance, was it when you met her?
Yes, and this was recently, yeah.
Okay. And so what have you learned from her thus far? Basics, just. And what changed about, like, how you were managing your finances before you met her as opposed to after you met her?
I was very ignorant to money. green. Whatever word you can put with not knowing about money, I was that person. And how we started our marriage, we started above what the median is in the black family. And so when she really matured into this this information, this career, this platform, I would just sit and ear hustle to the conversations she would have with people. And I was like, man, I'm losing. And so one person she had a conversation with, the person stated, hey, I don't even know what's in my 401k. And when you talk to people, they don't go and look at their 401k, and they don't check on it. They don't see how much they've lost. And as soon as they had that conversation, I said, let me just go and see what my 401k is.
Basically start doing research.
Right.
Yeah.
And this was during the pandemic. And I looked in my 401k and I ran down to Loretta and I was pissed. I lost $40,000.
Didn't know it.
And didn't know it. And at that time, a law had changed to where you could actually roll your money over or take it out and put it into something else. And that's what she encouraged me to do. And I think we had this conversation that so many people are loving the word deferred tax instead of insuring your money.
Explain what that means for the people who don't know.
Guaranteeing that your money is going to be there when you're ready to move on to the next thing or retire or something like that. When you talk about deferred, there's no guarantee that your money is going to be there. It can be projected that your money is going to be there. But if I insure my money, I have no doubt that my money is going to be there, and I can just persist into the next level, whatever I want to go to in my life.
So you learned a lot, it sounds like.
Yeah, no, she's my savior. She's my money savior.
What happened? Okay. Hold on, let me pause. You said don't want to try to what?
Try to see if they can fix it, or do you want to just keep recording each of these individually?
Are they all just individual? You can't pan back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just do the same thing we did before. Okay, that's cool. No, you're fine. No, thank you for letting me know. So let me get right back on track. I'm sorry. Let's see here. That's what I wanted to ask you. So along this journey, before I get into what the particulars are, the basics that you would tell people to do for finance, what was your greatest failure that helped, that propelled you forward?
My greatest failure? Oh, that's a good question. So I would say my greatest, I wouldn't say it's a failure. I would say, because I don't look at failure in that sense, I look at it as opportunities for growth. I would say, like, being a person who wanted to embark upon entrepreneurship and not having access to capital or money when I'm ready to use it was eye-opening for me.
Okay.
So I think literally the biggest thing that I would contribute to me wanting to do better would be seeing how hard most people I know work and still not have anything.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing how much people put blind faith into the benefits that they have with their employer and still not able to live a fulfilled life. And so me seeing that and knowing that I'm like trying to traverse the same path, go to school, get a job, build a family. Okay, how is that going to yield me a different result because I see that this is not working? So I would say my biggest inspiration was I see that this hasn't worked for so many people that I know. Like, how do I find a way out? Like, how would I do something different? And so, I think that's what's propelled me. I just want to learn more, and we can't do anything different if we don't, if we're not resourceful, finding more information.
Being vulnerable, too.
Yes.
That is a vulnerable process. Because when I talk to you, I was like, it's like someone's just stripping you right there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's almost like going to therapy or anything. It's anything that is uncomfortable, doctor's visits, dentist visits, eye appointments, financial advising meetings, all that stuff is uncomfortable. Because it's getting to the root of the problem.
She is now the money therapist. That's what I'm calling her
man.
now.
And I was like, man, it was tough for me. It really was tough to have that conversation. I was like, it made me think about all the times I should have done something different to get to this, to get to that point, to make all those things come true. So it's like, it's a process that I encourage you all to do, but I will tell you, it is grueling. I hated that phone call.
That is that. I'm gonna tell you that is finance conversations are not easy.
No, and
But
we're taught to keep it in house too. That's another thing.
historically, we've been indoctrinated to not talk about that.
Right.
And we've been indoctrinated to keep your salary to yourself. Don't let anything outside of the household. Don't talk. Don't let the left hand know what the right hand to do. But if like this person knows something more about building wealth more than I do, how dare I'm just going to stay ignorant.
That piece right there was weird for me because like when I grew up in the suburbs, I would have friends that would ask like, "Oh, how much do they make?" I'm like, I don't know. Like, why would I tell you that? Like, or how much would you raise? And like, I don't know. Why would we talk about that? And that's because historically we're taught don't talk about that. But I don't think it was out of like any kind of malice. It's a conversation on other sides of the track, if you will, that they don't hide those types of things, and the money flows.
Yes,
right?
yes.
The dollar circulates a lot in those neighborhoods too because they are aware of how the dollar should flow. So what would you tell people in like basics? Like how would you start with someone? How would you guide them? He called you the money therapist. How do you guide your clients? What is it that you start with? How do you start with
I
them?
start with literally trying to break down those walls. And you said it earlier. I think I just kind of transitioned my people skills and my motivational interview skills from healthcare into finance, helping people feel comfortable with talking about their needs. So I do a financial needs analysis. I'm introducing myself, talking about what I do and how I can service them so that it can open up their willingness to talk about what it is that they're looking for.
That's a different approach.
I know it.
Typical financial meetings, it's right to the meat and potatoes. There's no build up.
It has to be a different approach for our people.
Why is that?
Because here we are, this is the wall that we have in front of us about finance.
Yeah.
I have to break that wall down a little bit just so I can get on my tiptoes to peep over there. And then the more the conversation goes, the wall kind of lets down a little bit. Now, this is a real person. This person has integrity. This person is actually trying to see I need.
They're not judging me.
They're not judging.
I think that's the key piece is like people feel judged by the decisions they've made to get them to this point. I felt the same thing. I'm human, so I felt that too.
Me too. But like also, I have been developing ways to make people feel comfortable about talking about these things. So one of the reasons why I created apparel, one of the reasons why I talk about this on social media or podcasts is because I want to make it fun and popular or cultural for us to talk about.
Reminds me of Earn Your Leisure.
Yes.
It made it a culture that you can buy into.
One of the T-shirts I gave you was Wealth Reflection. I'm sorry. We are historically we are wealthy people. But
that's actually true.
Somewhere down the lines, different reasons, marginalization, slavery, institutional, systematic, whatever. But we're currently in the information age where we can have access to information like that.
We just talked about this, yeah.
And one reason we don't harp on that information and take action and implement it fast enough is because we have centuries of actions that has kept us from thinking about building wealth.
It didn't even seem possible.
It seems like that's something for some other culture, for someone who looks differently than I do, who has a different hue, who comes from money. But when in actuality, now that I know what I know, money comes from strategies, having the right products in your portfolio. Like, we as a people are making more money than anybody before us. We have the most businesses.
Yes.
Salaries are the highest it has ever been. Our net worth should be the highest, but it's declining because we haven't implemented those tools that are readily available for us.
A lot of us have gotten to places where we're making a substantial amount, but we're still spending money on, excuse my French, but bullshit. Like, we're not putting our money into things that are necessary. We're just putting money into things that show face. Well, we look good, we smell good. I heard this on something I was listening to this morning. It's like, you look good, you smell good, but you haven't done all the things to make you whole. So that also includes being financially literate, because if your household is not intact, you're still not whole. So I found that we do that quite a bit.
And I think that's because of financial trauma, though.
What do you mean by that?
Let's just take finance out of it. Anything that we do is a reflection of how we have experienced life. Like things that we've done in our past, things that we were taught, things that we've experienced that, okay, I want to do. Let's say if I am standoffish because I don't trust people. In my past, someone was less trustworthy to me. Well, if I didn't see my parents have great money skills, I didn't see them have financial discipline, and I saw them work their fingers to the bone, but they still were poor. Yeah, I'm about to ball out. YOLO. Yeah. Like I want to have what I want, and I'm working hard, so I deserve it. But it perpetuates poverty. But we continue to do that when we don't have the information. So what I try to do with my clients is, hey, we can still ball out, but let's prioritize paying ourselves. Let's prioritize automating, growing our money. Let's prioritize obtaining assets. Let's have a net worth mentality versus a liability mentality. And even if you want your things, you did this first. Yeah. And you can make your assets by these things.
My goal is for the assets to pay for the things. That's it. And hopefully the things appreciate and not depreciate. I mean, that's ideal in my world, but I know for some people that sounds crazy, but I would like for my assets to pay for things. Like I told one of my friends at one time, I was like, I think I'm going to try to be the first one of our friends that hopefully his investments pays for his first house. And he was like, that sounds crazy. Why don't you just buy a house? I was like, I don't know. I've been listening to these dudes on these finance things. And like, I was like, I worked in finance briefly, just enough to learn the information for myself. Right. And I was like, this is not what I want to do for a living. Right. So I quickly moved on, but I understood it. And I was like, I listened to these guys talk about how they have these assets to pay for these assets, to pay for these things. They don't directly go buy the thing. Like, I was like, so I kind of want to do that. I don't know how I'm going to do that because I've never had a family member that did that. Right. I mean, my grandma had a rent house. Right. A lot of us will have those. We would move out of the house, keep the old one. Grandpa's family had some land and stuff, but they didn't really scale that. Does that make sense? Right. So I still don't know how to do it. I've seen tidbits of it, but I told him, I think I want to kind of try to head that route. And it was just like, okay. He just looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, that's because so many people in our community think that is a moonshot. But it's not. It's really, like you said. It's really strategy. It's strategy, yeah.
And then even to piggyback off you saying, our grandparents had this and that, had land and had property. They didn't transfer that either. You know what I said earlier about having the right products in your portfolio, having a trust to transfer that stuff tax-free, having a will, having your assets insured so that it is passed down from generation to generation.
Sidebar question, trust or will?
Trust.
Okay, cool, because that's what I thought too. Insurance-wise, this is a quick question I wanted to ask you too. We talked about 3 different types of accounts. Could you tell me which one you told me that I probably should lean more towards? Because what I told you I wanted to do. Yeah. I don't remember exactly which one it was, but if you'll tell me that real quick, because I wanted to ask you that while you were here.
I told you about getting a permanent policy called an Index Universal Life.
That's what it was. Yes.
Just so that you're protecting and growing your money, but then you can have access to it and kind of use it like your own banking system.
And this is what you were talking about, paying yourself. Okay. Okay. So how do you make your own? Now you're making me think about all these questions that I didn't have. But how do you make your own banking system? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that?
Yeah. So when he was talking about having guarantees on your money and insuring your money, a lot of times, and it's by design, I think, for people, like we have been indoctrinated to think about life insurance as death benefit. Like make sure you have something to leave your family, but the different types of policies that exist is for different things. And there are policies that exist that allow you to accumulate cash value like you would in any other financial product. And because you're accumulating interest and compounding that money in an insurance product, because of the tax code, it allows you to do it and access it while it's still growing and access it.
She is a wizard.
Tax-free.
It's like listening to ChatGPT in real life. That's crazy. This is what you get.
He gets sick of me. Like,
You shouldn't.
No. Seriously.
This is information that you have to pay people hundreds of dollars to listen to them tell you. So yeah.
Listen, I told her she has a gift. She can have the smartest person in the room and a person that works in the field every day, and she knows how to break it down to where both of them will understand it in the same room.
Meet people where they are.
Right.
Yeah.
She has that gift. A lot of people can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that information was key. So what else you were talking about as far as how you handle your clients? What are other things that you tell them?
If I'm teaching a concept, I give examples, and I also meet them with how they can apply it to their lives. So I approach financial planning from an educational standpoint, because if you're informed about things, you can make an informed decision. But if I just go straight to telling you what you need to do, you're not going to stick to it because you don't understand the why or the how.
The language, basically.
Or the language.
Yeah.
So I am going to do the analysis. I'm going to talk about that concept, but in proximity to that concept that I'm teaching, I'm asking questions so that person can see maybe they don't know the answer to it and they need to go do the research. And because they don't know the answer to it, they have to continue to do the work to learn.
Okay.
And then I show numbers. So, I show the why and the how together. And then even if we have to follow up, we also follow up. But most of the time, I'm getting people to see what they don't know, what they don't have, and how we can obtain it. What door do we need to walk through to get you on the path to reaching your financial goals, as opposed to just saying you need to do this.
So for a person wanting to get started and figure this path out, they're probably wondering, well, how much does this cost? Because everything has a cost. What is a good amount to put aside for investing?
To each is different, because how I approach it is I sit down and really customize the plan for a person, because one size fit all does not help our people.
Okay.
Because if I tell you, you need $20,000 to get started, you don't have $20,000. You're just going to sit there, and then 2 decades will pass by and you did nothing.
So basically what's comfortable for them.
Yes. Meet them where they are.
I think a lot of people think you have to have thousands and thousands of dollars to get started.
That's
and you
true.
really don't.
You don't.
I'm sure at some point I probably thought that too, but you really don't.
Right.
I've seen people do it with 100.
Literally.
I've had family members that I do know, cousins that are heavily invested. We talk about those things. So I do have some people, but they didn't have the information. But when they got started, they started with a small amount and just kind of kept working
Keep
at
going.
it. And here we are years later, they're doing fine. So
Because the power is in compounding. Actually, the power is in taking action. Getting started in the right direction, not getting started in a hope and a dream or what I think may work. Like, I'm going to put my money over here. I'm going to hope that it blows up. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know how I'm going to, if I have to pay a bunch of taxes and fees on it. I don't know if I'm going to lose money when, another pandemic comes by. I'm just going to hope that it's there when when I need it, versus let me understand how different products work. Let me understand, this is the type I want, because I want protection. I want tax-free accounts. I want compound interest. I want, accessibility. I want net worth and things of that nature.
So what would you say a healthy portfolio would look like? What would you like to see in someone's portfolio?
Okay, I would say a diversified plan, but diversification in tax liability as well as a diversification in protection. So I would say some fixed accounts, but not much money in fixed accounts. You use that for your emergency fund and your expenses. I'd say if you're forced to have variable accounts through your employer, because that's all they offer, or if you like to do the stock market, you have some there. But diversify your products by also having a tax-free account. A lot of times we have this misconception that we're diversifying our portfolio by having a 401k, having an IRA, having stocks and bonds, but they're all in the same category as being variable and highly taxable. So then let's say we have one in the variable bucket, but let's say we kind of invest in a tax-free bucket. This is going to be there when we need it. This one, we just gambling with it.
And tax-free bucket is
you index accounts or even Roth IRAs and things of that nature, but I kind of teach people more about index universal plans because you can kind of customize it and put how much you want to put in it as opposed to being limited to how much you could in like other things like
Oh,
IRA.
yes, the Roth has a limit per year, right? That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wayne,
Yes, sir.
you got a lot of information in the household, man. That's very cool.
Hey, I'm blessed.
Yeah, you
Very
are.
blessed.
You are.
Very blessed.
What's the main thing you've learned from her? Yeah, it could not be finance. It could, but if it's finance based, that helps too.
It's what word do I want to use?
Uh-oh.
She has
know.
Right? The anticipation.
she has taught me how to diversify everything I do. I was a person that just, if I think it, I'm doing it. But now I think about it, I see the approach. I'm not, I put a plan together. Like Loretta, her ideas, she'll have an idea every hour. Me, I have an idea every 3 years. Loretta have an idea. She said, we got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. And then 3 years later, say, I got an idea. But she has taught me how to take the things that she does or the ideas she has. However, she has a conversation with me and she includes me and she said, how do you see this and how does it help you? And, growing up, I didn't have anyone to do that. So she has just taught me how to not have a tunnel vision of everything, but how to look at it from every angle and every approach. And just don't go down this pathway. See if there are other open paths or open doors to walk through. It may take a little while longer. You may not get it when you want, but there is a pot of gold to that path that you decide to take.
You have an impact on him, it sounds like.
Sounds like it.
These past few couples, the husband, there's a trend of the husband championing the wife, which is cool. So thank you for continuing that pattern like that.
Well,
That's cool.
our
That's very
mindset is
cool.
protection and making sure everything is where they need to be, not always, how, the lady sees it. So I have to learn how to adjust, and it's been great. It's been a hard path, but the outcome has been wonderful.
That's what's up.
I like to give him his kudos because it's not easy being in a relationship with a super ambitious person who has a thought about something every hour. It's not easy. And so having to deal with
I'm sure
that.
it's not.
And think about, our paths or how we think about things are different. Or me saying, I literally want to quit my 6-figure set career to be an entrepreneur was not something that is easily digested by any spouse.
How was that leap?
Strategic, but
Because I'm on the cusp of wanting to do the same thing. but
strategic,
I'm working
but
on it.
he was very supportive. But what I did also, like he was
I
saying,
was sweating though.
Yeah.
I was sweating.
Yeah, it's a process.
I said, baby, go ahead and do it. And then when I went in the corner, I was like, oh, hell.
so
it takes a while. You can't just jump out there. You have to transition to that.
It is the best decision we've made because she has championed every wall that has dropped in front of her.
That's cool.
If there was a bump in the road, she championed it. So I have to give her all the praise on that because
don't have my eyes sweating in here now, don't
Did you say my eyes sweating? I think those are called tears. But
no, I have to give her the praise. She is a diamond, and
That's very cool.
A diamond in the rough, and she is now starting to show and shine on what she has built.
tell Wayne he got to shine too. Though.
He does. I tell him that all the time, but he just shies away from it.
Humble is cool though. He was humble when I met him, so it's
Right.
cool. That's cool.
I'm supportive. I like to be in the background. I'm a
Yeah, me
person
too.
that puts things together. So
That's
I
not
don't.
believable at all.
No, for real.
No, I said me too, but you wouldn't believe that. I'm sitting right here talking to you. That's
that
not
part,
true at all.
That part.
So, what would you like to tell the audience for finance? Like just something that they can chew on and something you want to leave them with. It's been a cool conversation.
Well, I would say definitely don't shy away from seeking a financial professional. There are people out there like myself and other financial professionals that do consultations for free.
I didn't know it was a free thing. I mean, I'm not,
Right.
I thought it was because we knew. I didn't know it was an actual free thing.
There are people who will charge you thousands of dollars, but there are people who will educate you for free. Initial consultations a lot of times can be free, especially in financial literacy realm. And one reason you want to get information anyway, even if you're not ready to move forward, even if you feel like you don't have two nickels to rub together, having information and understanding where you are and where you should be going, that's magic right there.
I'll tell you a quick story about that piece right there. I had a buddy, this was some years ago, but they were renting a house. And I had heard this piece on how you can buy the rent house out and then the ownership comes into play and you can do whatever you want with it. I was like, is it rent to own? He was like, I might think it might be. I was like, you should take that option. He was like, why? I was like, because ownership is key, bro. Like, you should take the option. Like, you could turn around, flip this house, rent it out, and move on into another house, and now you have you have set income. Like, you have residual monthly income, like stuff you can have when you sleep and still making money. He was like, well, it's such a good idea. Why don't you do it? I was like, because I don't have two fucking nickels to rub together right now, but it's a good idea. You can do it. And I'm one of those people who have information. I don't care if I can't do it. Maybe I can't scale that idea right now, but maybe you can, and you should. Right. And I'm not mad at you if you do. So when you get over there, you can come back and tell me all the details I need to know. So that's just how my brain works. So you're absolutely correct about that piece that you said. Wayne, do you want to leave the audience with anything before we get out of here?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, here we go.
The money therapist of DFW is here.
Wait a minute.
Loretta Wall.
Oh, wait a minute. That intro was too nice. I might have to take you out and get you my intros. Hey, do this for me. But no, what would you like to say before we get out of here? Just a piece of positivity.
To everyone out there, if you have someone that is in your household that can lead you to the next level, doesn't have to be from a monetary standpoint. It doesn't have to be from you're the man of the house. It's about building together. Take advantage of that situation. Listen, open your ears, get out of that pride, because that may propel you to what you have in your dreams. My dream is to be successful, to be on top, to know how I can get to that next level each time by networking, by socializing, and things of that nature. I never knew how to do that, and I had that person sitting right beside me. And so when I opened my ears and I opened myself up to how I can get to that point, I started listening instead of talking. And now I have a path on where I want to be. And she has encouraged me to open up, because I'm not a person that goes out and just talk to everyone. But she has encouraged me to do that, and I've been successful thus far doing it.
Men, take notes. That's how you champion a woman. That is the. Let me give you another one. Here you go. That's how you do it. Well, if nothing else, actually plug yourself, how they can find you, because I'm sure they would like to. So plug yourself, how they can find you.
Yes. So I am on Instagram, Theve Love Agency, as well as Dr. Loretta Wall. I'm on Facebook, Dr. Loretta Wall and Theve Love Agency. And I have a website, theveloveagency.com. So you can catch me. My links to book free consultations are on there. And my phone number is on my website. So if you want to get some more information, want to increase your literacy, just want to get a plan together, please reach out.
The money therapist of DFW.
You want another? There it is. As always, we hope that you like this show as much as we love doing it, because I love doing this show today. It was cool. We hope that you evolve. We hope that you learn. We hope that you grow. And we hope that you come back and kick it with us all over again. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you for
I appreciate it, Wayne. One more bomb for you. And that's it. We out of here. Bye.